Hello and welcome to FX Acrobatics. I am the Acrobat, and today we'll be taking a very different tune with what we've been doing so far. So we'll start to code some indicators going forward. These are the tools that I promised that we'll build. There's a reason why I started with the inside and outside bar indicator. That's because there's a strategy that I want us to try to work with and backtest and actually put into production, if I may say. So I did mention earlier in this channel on the welcome video that I am a programmer. I actually have a master's degree in computer science, and I can write a lot of code. So the code that I've written here is very simple, very basic, something that the beginner student can actually write. So don't get confused, really. I think with time I'll probably create videos that teach PineScript and MQL5 with very good examples. I'll say as the channel goes. But today I just want us to look at an indicator, a tool that is very useful. This is an inside and outside bar indicator. We'll see why this is important as we talk about the inside and outside bar strategy at a later time. But this is an inside and outside bar strategy that is based on ICT concepts. Alright, without any further ado, let's look at the inside bar. Alright, an inside bar is formed by two candles. So we have the first candle here. You can see that the high comes in at 13,465, and then the high of the next candle comes in at 13,305, which is lower than the high of the previous candle. And then the low of the previous candle here comes in at 12,771, and the high of the next candle comes in at 12,854, which is higher now than the low of the previous candle. So this whole candle in here is inside the previous candle here. So there's a bar, this is another bar. So this candle becomes an inside bar because all of its price action is contained within the high and low of the previous candle. So that becomes an inside bar. The situation is reversed for an outside bar. This candle, the one that we call the outside bar, although contains all of the price action of the previous candle basically. So the high here is lower than the high, and the low is higher than the low here. So the range of this candle engulfs the previous candle. That becomes an outside bar. Alright, so this is how you can code this using PineScript. You just go down to PineScript and create a new script, and in here I've blanked out my name. Well, I am the Acrobat, so maybe my other name is not necessary for this discussion. Alright, so here you have this first function here, indicator. This is an indicator. We give it a title here, the name. So I just called it in out bar, and overlay equals false. This means that I don't want it to show up on the chart. I want it to be on its separate window. Alright, next are the patterns. I've already explained the patterns on the previous slides. So for an outside bar, you can see this is the current candle. So its high should be higher. So you can see the greater than sign here. So its high should be greater than the previous candle. So the index of this candle is 0. But PineScript allows you to just leave it like that. So it knows that that means the current candle. So the current candle's high is higher than the previous candle, and the low of the previous candle now is greater than the low of the current candle. So that creates an outside bar. All right. And then the inside bar, again, as explained, you have the high of the current candle being lower, being smaller than the previous candle. And then the low, again, it's reversed. So you just do that. So what we do here, we are using a ternary operator here. This is called the ternary operator. And we are checking this condition, that is this and this true. If these two conditions are true at the same time, then we'll assign a value of 1 to this variable called outside bar. And then for the inside bar, again, we use the ternary operator and we check these conditions. If they are met, we assign a 2. If not, this is basically now saying we're assigning no value to that variable. Now this is important for plotting purposes, because when we plot the indicator, we'll be plotting these variables, and whenever there's no outside bar that has been identified, this null value will be plotted on the indicator window. All right, here are the plotting conditions here, and the plotting styles. So here we're plotting outside bar, as you know, so we're trying to plot these values because this becomes an array containing the values across time. All right, so we plot this here, and then we give it a title outside, and then we'll be plotting it in the form of circles. We want it to be orange, and we're not offsetting anything. We just wanted to plot, if this the current candle, we wanted to plot it right there on that candle. It should be pointing to that candle, no offsetting. If you do that, you might find that you create some kind of repainting indicator. And this is the size of the circle, the size of the circles that will be plotting. Same thing here, which is the difference is the title and the color. We want the color to be blue. Again, offset is 0 and line width. Now don't worry too much about these. If you want a course on PineScript, I'll definitely create one, as I've mentioned, where we go into details really about each of these parameters. All right, and then we have alert conditions. Now the indicator is basically complete right there, but I've just created another variable here called outside and inside, because I want to create notifications, email notifications when this happens. So you find that I set this on the daily chart, and then I want it to tell me whenever an inside day or an outside day has been created when the candle closes. So I create this, and then I use this function called alert condition. So alert condition is going to help us create the notifications to email when the inside or outside bar is created. So we just assign, we give it those parameters that whenever an outside bar or an inside bar is detected, please send this message to an email or to my app, or just a push notification to my app. Or I can even call a webhook if maybe I have another EA running somewhere, maybe on MetaTrader, and I can call this webhook directly to MetaTrader, and a trade can be taken instantaneously. And this, we use this to identify the alert condition when we plot this indicator on the chart. Right, let's have a look at how that looks. Alright, so this is the indicator now plotted on the chart. You can see here I've put some lines, and right here, this one is an inside bar. As you can see, this candle's price action is contained within the range of the previous candle. So that's an inside bar. For the outside bar, you can see that the previous candle's price action, this one, you can see this low here down there, might not be really clear, but it's lower than this one, and this high is higher than this one. So this candle is an outside bar. So that looks like it went well. Alright, so now when you create an alert condition here, once you have this indicator on the chart, you can go to trading view and click the alerts and create an alert. When you create the alert here, you go to condition and you choose your in-out bar. And when you do that, then the alert condition that we created on the previous slide, inside or outside bar indicator, is right here. You can see that inside or outside bar indicator, that's what we created. So you can choose that, and then you can choose once per bar close. Let me just show that right there. So this is for euro dollar, and we choose in out bar, we choose that, and then we choose once per bar close. So this condition will be checked only when the candle closes, and when it finds that the inside or outside bar has been created, then it will notify you using these methods. So I will show webhook at a later time, but for now it shows me on my app. It shows a pop-up here on the screen on trading view, and it also sends an email. This is the message that it sends. Sorry, right there the English is not complete. It should be an inside or outside bar has formed, please check. So I missed the check, so it should say please check and analyze for an entry. Just because an inside or outside bar has formed doesn't mean you should go in and take a trade. Still need to analyze, maybe check your institutional order flow and know the direction the breakout is most likely to occur. Alright, let's have a look at the email notifications that are sent by this thing. So this is how they come. For example, in my case, here is one here. These are the others that were sent. You can see there's one for NZD USD, Euro GBP, or USD, the Swissy, and so on. So I get a lot of these, and you'd be amazed at the setups that you can get, because it scans a lot of trading pairs that you'd probably not even touch. But now once you get this notification, because this is running on the daily chart, it's not a lot of them that happen, but when you put them on a lot of pairs and you get these notifications, you can just do your high time frame analysis, look at institutional order flow, institutional sponsorship, and then you get your buyers, and then you know that when the breakout happens from the inside bar, is it gonna be a turtle soup, or is it gonna just continue straight on that direction? You should be able to determine that when you do your analysis. So we'll see when we explain the inside bar strategy or in the outside bar strategy, and then we do a lot of back tests. I mean, this is how we do the acrobatics here. We combine this power of programming, creating our own tools, and then doing our back tests, do things that are not usually done when it comes to the forex market. I hope you start to appreciate the amount of work and the way this channel is different. You will see as we go on. So I'm going to be structuring my lessons better as I grow. I hope the community will grow as well, so that I can get more and more feedback from you guys, and then we can do the acrobatics way better and see if this is indeed the way.